hello and welcome everybody. We've got another set that I'm casting here for Alchemy League. Got some good games as always. Sorry I've been away for a while, been pretty busy. I spent like 4 hours last night trying to find a better option for us to host our specifications and all of our other educational materials and our documents and our handbooks and that sort of thing. I spent 4 hours trying to find a website that would work better than GitHub and failed. So it was pretty disappointing. Came close on one. It looked like it was going to work, but it was just buggy. So we couldn't go with it. But anyway, without further ado, I just wanted to say hi, and now we're going to introduce the players. So let's come over here and take a look at our spreadsheet. For the first set that we're looking at today, we have the Otter one, who is an underdog, versus Leo 13, who is an overdog. So, according to our little nifty little tournament elo calculator, the Otter one is mid to upper 1500s, and Leo is mid to lower 1600s. So about a 100 elo gap here between these two, I would say, approximately. Between 50 and 100. So it should be a pretty competitive set. I'm looking forward to seeing what those guys accomplish. So let's go and check out the game now. Alright, here we go. Let me just plug this in and then we'll hit start here. The map of the week, or the map of the round I should say, is Libadi, which is a Greek map that is inspired by or similar to Fortress. So, Fortress, what am I talking about? ES Prairie. There we go. Alright, come on. Alright, so it's similar to ES Prairie and not Fortress, unlike what I said at first. You start with 2 scouts on this map, similar to ES Prairie. And I know that that sounds dangerous, but remember that that forces everybody to get loom right off the bat. Food situation is rough on this map. You pretty much have to play as a civilization that has an eco bonus on this map. I mean, you can play as a civilization that does not have an eco bonus, but it is hard. There are no player assigned boars on the body, similar to ES Prairie. No player assigned boar, but there are 2 deer patches. And you have just 2 berry bushes underneath your town center. Now these scouts could engage in a fight. Guys, here are the statistics for the scouts. I know that they look pretty scary. They only have 15 hit points. So they're easy to kill, but they do deal 7 damage per swing. But they swing at half the rate of scout cavalry, who are doing 3 damage. So really their damage output is only slightly that above Scout Cavalry in Dark Age and well below Scout Cavalry in Feudal Age. So they're really not that scary. You know, you don't want to introduce a unique scouting unit that's kind of OP. But, you know, having said that, this unit can still catch people off guard. You know, this scout has killed villagers in Alchemy League. We've seen it. Some of my other videos, we've witnessed it. So let's talk about their civilizations and the players. The Otter one is playing in yellow. He's at midnight here, and Dr. Loops, a.k.a. Leo 13. I should probably adjust that, huh? He is playing as the Blue Lithuanians. So Lithuanians are a great civilization for this map. It's a big open map. They have an eco bonus in the form of additional starting food. So I understand the Lithuanians' choice. Now Goths don't necessarily have an eco bonus. I guess they carry more hunted meat, which is not that big of a deal because the Otter one is pushing the deer underneath his town center, so the carry capacity is not really in question. So in effect, the Otter one is playing without an eco bonus. But I have seen Goths on this map in the past, and they are quite a popular choice because this map is an open land map. this map is rough. Especially this particular version of the map, you guys can see that each player starts with only 2 assigned wood lines. It's either 2 or 3 on this map, and Arabia is generally 3 or 4. And they're a little bit, I think they're a little bit closer than these, and they are, and there are more of them. Maybe a little bit larger too. So this is a pretty open and exposed map. So the Otter one is essentially hoping that he can get some damage in. You can see that the Otter one is already building a barracks. He may have queued up the resources to click up to the feudal age, but I'm not sure. Nope. He just has a bunch of villagers queued up. And he's got other villagers coming out here. Maybe he's headed over to this deer. Luckily for the Otter one, yeah, he sees these deer. He wants them. He only needs 2 villagers to take all of the deer meat back, I believe. So it looks like the Otter one will actually be using his eco bonus, which is, I guess, a good thing for him. He can assign 2 villagers to each deer. I don't know if he'll do that. Oh no, Otter. Well, he actually might get that all. He might get all the meat from one deer and then task it onto the other one, because it is more efficient this way, as long as you can remember to click on both later. Looks like the Otter one has also sniped Leo 13's scout. Leo 13 on his way up to the feudal age. You can see that he's got this makeshift wall here, so he's already starting to wall off, but you know, walling would be expensive on this map. The Otter one is on the prowl, though. He's got 2 weak scouts, and Leo 13 has 1 scout somewhere. Where is it? Okay, it is coming over here. Leo 13 suspicious of the Goths' play, and so he is building a wall around his wood line here, because he does not want the Otter one getting in and causing chaos. Because Leo 13 has been around the game for a while, and he knows that the Goths on a very open land map like this are up to no good. So the Otter one is going to arrive, but he's not going to be able to harass this wood line for now. He may just break buildings. Actually, he's going to attack this lumber camp, forcing Leo 13 to repair it. Now, I don't think that... Yeah, I think the Otter one is doing the right thing by having the heavy swordsman attack the wall, because actually I think that the militia have a higher damage output. So Leo 13 is going to get into the feudal age. He's going to complete this barracks, and he is not on gold, which could be a big problem. Because in order to repel what the Otter one is doing, he will need archers. And in order to make archers, he will need gold. So there is a gold here, and there's a gold back here. But neither of those are secure. Leo 13 luring the Otter one under his town center, which is smart. And he also has stonewalled here as well. So the Otter one's drush is not exactly working out the way that he had planned. But I think the Otter one is finished making... Yeah, he's not making any more militia. Hey, the Otter one, he's here. Excellent. Welcome, the Otter one. He's here to explain everything, in case we have any questions. Alright, so Leo 13 going out onto gold now. He's going to need this gold if he wants to make archers. He's made 1 archer and he's got 5 gold left. I don't know what happened to the rest of it. I think he probably got loom, and that's probably what happened. Yeah. And he has... Leo 13 is also stonewalled back here. So he stonewalled the Otter one out. The Otter one still sending some militia across, I suppose. He's got a villager here. I'm wondering if he's going to come in and build a tower and be super annoying as soon as he hits feudal age. The Otter one is indeed getting close to clicking up to feudal age, but he's not quite there yet. He's idling his town center to make it happen. You can see that there's a big difference in town center idle time. Leo 13 still having fewer villagers, though, probably because he spent some time advancing. So Leo 13 is about to pull ahead in villager count. So if we look at the eco kill to death down here, it looks like the Otter one hasn't done any eco damage to Leo 13, and Leo 13 has not done any economy damage to the Otter one. You know, classic Goths here with the Otter one losing 5 units, even though he did better with the scouts initially. Just because that's how Goths work, they're expendable. Expendable infantrymen. So this skirmisher is pecking away at this militia, doing probably one damage per hit. Alright, he's going to send an archer, and that should be a little bit more dangerous. No, Otter going to pull back. No fletching yet for Leo 13. But he'll probably prioritize that pretty soon. He's a good player. Leo 13 stonewalled that off. And the Otter one, what's the Otter one doing over here? He's just got a random lumber camp over there. I guess he had the villagers. And it's sort of a sneak lumber camp. I don't think Leo 13 knows anything about it. No, Leo 13 hasn't even found the Otter one's base. He's coming now with some archers and skirmishers. But the Otter one has just hit feudal age. So the Otter one going into man-at-arms, of course, in Goth style. And he's making a blacksmith so that he can get more armor for those guys. He is not creating any man-at-arms from this other stable. But so far, I would say that the Otter one's aggression has not been successful. But if the Otter one can tower this gold, maybe it would be a really important win for him. Interesting, a house formation there. Okay, we got man-at-arms coming out across the map for the Otter one. Armor coming in for the Otter one. Leo 13, what's he doing? Well, he's not castle age yet. He is diligently coming in here and re-walling places where he chops. He's going to have to remember to repair this lumber camp, but he can get to that later. And there is a disconnect, guys. This is not... Otter one says Lith were smart. They can do without the extra hunt. It's true. We were talking about how Lithuanians could be a good civilization for this map because of extra starting food. So guys, that is not the Otter one necessarily winning, although he might win this game. That is because there was a disconnect, and they had to restore it. So we're going to go and watch part 2 now. Alright, so let's see. I think we want this one. So we're going to continue to see if Leo 13... Yeah, here we go. We're going to see if Leo 13 can make a comeback, or if the Otter one will eventually overwhelm him. This is a little bit unfortunate positioning for Leo 13 here. The Otter one is at his base, and he's trying to get in. Leo 13 is repairing this palisade wall. Looks like the Otter one is splitting it up amongst varying palisade walls. He wants to get in, but the archers are going to come and fight off these man-at-arms. So the Otter one has to break off and deal with that instead of trying to get in. Although he might be able to pick off this villager if he's lucky. Unfortunately, the KD has reset from last time. So the Otter one had 5 deaths last time. And now he only has 2. Okay, Leo 13 is making a blacksmith. So he recognizes that he needs fletching for these guys. That would make it much easier for them to kill the man-at-arms. And he's also stonewalling here, which is very smart against Goths. So the Otter one, is he continuously pumping out man-at-arms at his barracks? It doesn't look like it. It looks like the Otter one is building a market here. Maybe he's thinking, I'm better off going up to castle age at this point than I am trying to pressure my opponent in feudal age, because I can't get through all of these stone walls. Oh, but he did get through these stone walls. Wow. Look at that.
No.
The Otter one is in on... Oh, no, there was an overchop right here. That's why. And Leo 13 deleted this. So the Otter one is victorious. I don't know. Do you guys think it was over? I mean, he had plenty of resources to go up to be able to make more archers. If he had had a good group of, like, 6 archers, which he could afford, with fletching, he could have killed a lot of this stuff off. But the pressure of the man-at-arms getting to him. First win goes to the Otter one. The Otter one successfully getting in on this wood line. Boy, that hurt. Alright, let's check out the next game. The next one is on Nomadus. It would have been hard for him to take wood. That's true. So here we are. On Nomadus, you start with these packed town centers, but they're actually better. You delete them, and they give you your starting villagers and a visionless water buffalo. That's pretty speedy. And you start with this scout, heavy swordsman here. He's unlike the other scouts in the map pack because he's super tanky, but he only has one attack. Leo 13 building down here. He is immediately going out to dock. We see that this version of Greek Nomad is pretty special because your land may intersect with the edge of the map for one of the sides. So that can mean that you can have a little bit maybe safer of some fishing earlier on. It's a little bit more isolated, I would say. People have said that they really like this version of Nomad. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's too safe? I tried to give the players closer starting locations with like these packed town centers and sort of spawning in the middle of the landmass to kind of make up for the fact that, oh, what is this? The Otter one has discovered something. Guys, remember that, yeah, the Otter one actually finding this dock, which is a good find for him, so he knows his opponent has a dock here. These scouts have very little vision. The Otter one is also going to find his opponent's town center, maybe? No, he just misses it. And Leo 13 smartly not garrisoning. If Leo 13 had garrisoned and shot at the Otter one's scout, it would have revealed his starting location. So that's actually pretty smart of him. But nevertheless, the players are right next to each other. So this line is something that only we can see. It also means sometimes you can't find any spot to dock. That's true. Yeah, I try to encourage docking later on this map. Now Leo 13 knows where the Otter one is. A few volleys are into his scout, but the guy can take it. He's got lots of health. He's a pretty tanky dude. And there is this pond here, which this actually could be worth docking. And I would love to see somebody dock this. I don't know that they will, because there's not a ton of fish in there. There's 3 fish and then 1 deep fish. But I still think that it's worth it to dock this. Because imagine not having to defend it, right? Imagine your opponent building their normal dock and showing up with fire ships and not finding anything and then thinking, oh, my opponent didn't even make fish. But actually you secretly do have fish. And the best part is that Leo 13 has not discovered it. I mean, I guess he's come close here with that basin. Does the Otter one know about it? Yeah, the Otter one knows that there's a lake here. So, we'll see if the Otter one chooses to dock it. He may not, actually. He's docking up here. Better fish options.
Yes. Yes.
Alright, so let's talk about plan for this. What do you do? I actually think the Otter one is in a great position as Teutons. He just needs to secure stone. And he's got some stone right here. Maybe the Otter one could do a Teutonic tower rush and take his opponent off of resources. Take his opponent off of wood and gold. His opponent has assured stone right here underneath the town center, but a Teutonic tower rush could be pretty devastating. You didn't find the deep fish, and without it, it would be terrible. I've heard that it's worth it if there are 3 fish, or sorry, at least 4 fish. And with the deep fish, there are 4 fish, but the deep fish actually don't have much more fish than the shore fish. They only have 25 more. But you know, I could see the Otter one coming around here and building a tower here and building a tower here, building a tower over here and walling it in. But on Nomad, tower rushes are generally not a good idea because your opponent is fishing and they just have the food to go up to Castle Age immediately. And so you tower rush them, they go up to Castle Age, and then they just build a castle, and then they kill you. Terrible start because he didn't find a docking spot. Well, where was the first place that you went? The way that the rules for this map are set up is there only one side at most will be landlocked. The 3 other sides will be free, and it's random which side is landlocked. So it could be this side, could be this side, could be this side, or it could be none of them. You can't trust a player with their town center on stone, says the Otter one, as this boar runs around the stone to attack the villager. That's true. They would be assured a stone supply to mine and build towers back of their own. But if your towers were just outright better, surely you could work something. So Leo 13 is building a house here. I wonder if he's found the Otter one. He has. So he's building this house here. He's going to try to kind of like wall off the Otter one, prevent the Otter one from doing too much damage to him. But yeah, it is a lot harder to trush a player on stone. The best part about the tower rush is denying their stone, right? So they can't build towers to defend. Leo 13 also still has these deer here, which he hasn't gone after yet, which is a strange choice. So Malay, what are Malay good at? Well, Malay will advance through the ages quickly. So that doesn't necessarily mean that Leo 13 will be in the next age sooner. It'll mean that when Leo 13 hits the next age, assuming that he's keeping his town center working, he will have more villagers than the Otter one. And he does indeed have a big villager advantage over the Otter one. The Otter one also didn't find any boar for forever. The Otter one is taking his 3rd boar right now. I think the boar were nearby. We try to have it so that there are some flares around where you start to illuminate potential starting resources. You can kind of see and choose where you want to start. Got it. Okay, the villager survives. That's an excellent outcome. So Leo 13 is going to be feudal age in just a few minutes. Or sorry, just a few seconds. He's on gold, and he's managed to find a lot of sheep. So maybe his plan is to go and ransack all of these sheep as soon as he hits castle age. He's building a blacksmith now, although he's somewhat heavily on gold. I don't think he's going to go archers. I think he's just going to go castle age. He might just go castle age and drop a castle on the Otter one. That could be his plan. The Otter one with another house. He's on his way up to the feudal age, but it'll be about 50 seconds away. So Leo 13, 476 food. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's close resource-wise. Has he cleared the sea out? No, he's still got some more fish options down here. The Otter one fishing as well. I think it's kind of cool that Leo 13 has not built any fire ships yet, or galleys of any kind. He's building a 2nd dock now, so maybe he intends to contest water. But he is content just to let the Otter one fish, which is interesting. Usually players, like the first thing that they do when they hit feudal age is to make an economic unit that can go, or a military unit that can go and destroy your opponent's fishing ships, because they're defenseless. The Otter one building a market. He's got a barracks. So the Otter one maybe will build a blacksmith next. Leo 13 is closing in on the food to go to castle age. I think he's trying to click up now. Maybe not. Looks like he's going to finish this villager and then click up. The Otter one needs to click up as soon as possible. He knows he's up against Malay, and he knows that Malay advanced very quickly. So the Otter one with 742 food, and he's going to have another drop. Oh, okay, he's got it. So they both click up at the same time, but because Leo 13 is Malay, he will be up a lot sooner. So the Otter one just needs to take as many resources as he can. The good news is that the Otter one's town center is not going to be destroyed by castle age units before he reaches castle age, which has happened to me on Nomad many times. like we have a walling attempt here, a quick wall, to trap the Otter 1's scout. Oh no! Leo 13 coming with the wax. But the Otter 1 is still on the move, still keeping an eye. Doesn't want to bring his scout back to the town center, because he probably wants to see where Leo 13 is expanding to. Leo 13 building a barracks. I'm wondering if it's going to be Malay elephants instead. He does have 2 docks. No fire ships, no fire galleys. Sorry, no fire galleys or galleys or anything like that. He is totally cool with the Otter 1 just fishing, which I think is adorable. The Otter 1 walling off to this pond. This would be a nice wall off because it'll force Leo 13 to walk all the way around if he wants to get to the Otter 1. Oh, we have a scout from the Otter 1. The Otter 1 has made a proper scout. He's got a stable over here, and this is where he's mining gold. And what's the plan for the Otter 1? Leo 13 transitioning over to horse collar. Maybe he believes that the Otter 1 is going to make navy and come for him. And the Otter 1, okay, he is making navy now. I don't know that Leo 13 saw it. But I'm surprised that Leo 13 would just let all these fishing ships go, given the advantage that he has. But that's Leo 13 for you. He, sometimes he gets discouraged, I think, and he doesn't realize that his position is better than it really is. Monastery for the Otter 1. And a siege workshop. Leo 13 is taking stone now. He'll probably try and build a castle, or he'll build lots and lots of town centers. Because he's got 4 on stone. He's making pikemen because he saw cavalry from the Otter 1. And Leo 13 needs to wall to the edge of the map here. House coming up for Leo 13. What's this? The Otter 1. Oh, this is, you know what this is? This is probably the Otter 1 sending a villager to dock. No? Don't know. Yeah, I think he's going to dock up here a little bit more. Maybe improve the efficiency of his fishing ships. That's the plan. Let's come over here. Alright, he's forced Leo 13 to invest in fire galleys. The Otter 1 is not fighting back, he just wants to sink the fishing ships. Leo 13 running with it, and he's also making another dock. Is Leo 13 making any more ships? No. So Leo 13 was just decided he's going to play defensively on water. I don't know how much more the Otter 1 is going to try to get at Leo 13's fish. He has made another fire galley. Leo 13 on 2 town centers and wants to boom. It's 51 villagers to 36. The Otter 1 needs to make something happen here. He needs to do some damage. Otherwise, Leo 13 is going to pull ahead of him economically. And he's going to have way more stuff. I'd love to see a castle drop from the Otter 1. But I don't know that we will see it. The Otter 1 doesn't have... I guess he had a mining camp and he deleted it. That's what that looks like. But the Otter 1 has a lot of siege weapons now. And he's going to start working on this. Oh! Leo 13 with a castle drop on the Otter 1. The Otter 1 attacking the castle foundation with villagers. He really needs sappers in order to do anything about that. But sappers is an Imperial Age technology. So I think that this castle just has to go down and the Otter 1 just has to accept it. He can't stop it at this point. The Otter 1's town center is still here. So it is a semi-safe area, but he must accept that this castle's going up here. And the irony is that if this siege were on this side, the castle never would have been able to go up. But Leo 13 kind of out-positioning the Otter 1 on that one. Yo, Cookie, welcome. So the Otter 1 just going to keep working on this house here. And try to get in and pressure this town center. Leo 13 has built a tower to help him defend. I don't know that the Otter one will get in this way. Although he might be able to come around this wood line and camp with siege weapons right here. That could be pretty annoying. The tower's covering this area, but this area should still... He could get some villager kills in with a mangonel or something. Or he could even come a little bit further and get here. It looks like we had a bunch of infantry trying to attack these scorpions. And Leo 13... Oh, that was a good hit. Leo 13 coming around now. The knight trying to pick off the karambit succeeds, but the infantry get a surround on the siege weapons. I think the Otter one is in pretty rough shape here. The stone walls. You know, the wrong angle. These stone walls are pretty annoying. Leo 13 using stone walls to great effect against the Otter one in this game, and in the last game too. Although the Otter one overcame the stone walls in the last game. Down with the stone walls, says Cookie Pirate. Well, there are a lot of people that despise them. There are a lot of Stonewall haters out there. They slow games down. For slow people like me, they're fantastic. But for fast-paced people who love deathmatch like the Otter one, they're very annoying. Now the Otter one using stone walls, turning the tables on his opponent. He's going to add another town center back here. Leo 13 is just so far ahead, though. He's got almost twice the villager count than the Otter one. And half of the Otter's villagers are not working. Leo 13 is deciding to go into karambits. Now, has Leo 13... Oh yeah, he's shown up here to eat the Otter one's fishing ships. This is getting pretty ugly for the Otter one. He's running out of space. Leo 13 building another castle here. Nazar Games says, hello. Hello, Nazar Games. How did you find us? Randomly through the algorithm? Or through the Discord? Which, speaking of which, the Streamcord bot is not posting in the Discord like it should be. I gotta figure out what's going on with that. Or should I say now live? Actually, it's now live. I need to figure out what's going on with that. So Leo 13 getting some revenge against the Otter one here. The Otter one having an unlucky start on Nomad, as is often the case with Nomad-style maps. It's true, I think. I think that this game was decided in the Dark Age. Hey, Nazar. I'm not playing anything. I'm casting some games from Alchemy League. Yep, Alchemy League Season 3. We're on some custom Greek maps that are heavily standardized, but this is Age of Empires 2. You can do a lot of things with Age of Empires 2. A lot of good stuff. And in this case, we have a map with some, or a tournament with some custom maps, and the Otter one is one of the players. And he's up against Leo 13, this one. Yeah, that was very impressive, the Otter one. You had the gold for Sprint 1. You didn't earn the most money, because we have to have a skill bias factor, otherwise the skilled players will not sign up for our tournament. But as far as I'm concerned, if you get the most wins, you get the gold medal. Even if we don't pay you as much as the other guys. I'm glad that you found that the other maps were improvements over the ones on the ladder. Thank you, the Otter one, for your kind words. Certainly, I think there's more that we can do to have custom maps for future seasons of Alchemy League. Next season, we're going to have Alaska, as you may know. And those are... he's there for just... Well, you came to the right place if you're there for fame and not the money. So we're going to have custom maps for Alaska in Alchemy League Season 4, and they're not going to look really like any standard maps that currently exist. So this next set, we've got Kitsa playing against Guras Toby Buffus. What do I know about these guys? Kitsa is... They're both from South America, I believe. Kitsa might be from Mexico. They're both Spanish-speaking. They're both from Latin America. Guras Toby Buffus... Actually, he may not be Spanish-speaking. I think he's from Brazil. So that would make him Portuguese-speaking. So, boy, these guys are killing me. They are both from South America, except Kitsa, who might be from Mexico. But I think Kitsa's from South America, too. So similar time zones. Similar languages, but not the same. And they have picked Mongols. The otter one is from Germany, Nazar. I am from the USA. I am a native English speaker with a Yank accent, as they call it. So, Mongols. Why would anybody pick Mongols on this map? Well, Mongols take hunted meat faster. So, I actually have not seen a lot of Mongols on this map so far. And I was like thinking when I made it, okay, you know I'm supposed to be copying ES Prairie and like just improving it slightly in some respects. So I think I'm going to see a lot of Mongols, though, because I'm putting a lot of hunt on this map. And I haven't really seen very many Mongols. So I'm actually quite excited to see this matchup, even though it's a Mongols mirror matchup. I don't really like mirror matches because anything that I can do, they can just do better. I rely on knowing my Civ has better options than their Civ. That's how I feel, the Byzantine supremacist. Oh, your country is Indonesia. You can speak English. That's good. You can speak and not just write. Yeah, we have a lot of non-native English speakers in the Alchemy AoE community. Probably 80% of the players in Alchemy League are non-native English speakers. But they still obviously have to be able to read all of our stuff, like our handbooks and all of our specifications and methods and that sort of thing that describe how this thing is going to be run. That's all in English. So it's pretty impressive that these guys are able to come together over that kind of thing. We're able to write some stuff that they can understand and sign up for. Alchemy League is not huge. We have 20 players right now. But it's decent when you think about how big of a platform the Alchemy AoE community is. That it's a small budget community, and it is a few years old. But then the other thing is then the commitment level that you ask from these guys. Hey, DJ Sapson, welcome. You are asking somebody to play 2 games every week for essentially 3 months. So, it's a big commitment level. So, I don't want to knock it, and I don't want to complain that Alchemy League isn't doing better. I would love for Alchemy League to have like 100 players in it. In theory, the computer programs that I wrote that seed everybody should be able to handle that without problem. I wouldn't be able to cast all of that. As Kitsa clicks up to the feudal age first, actually. So he's doing some kind of crazy 17 pop scouts build for Mongols, probably. Both players have been dedicated to pushing in their deer. I haven't been talking about the game too much. I should probably talk more about the game. You start with 2 scouts on this map too, which sounds dangerous, especially given their high attack. But these guys only attack at half of the usual rate. So they're actually not that scary, and they only have 15 health. And if you start with an extra unit, you start with 5 units, and no houses. So that means that you start the game housed, and you're forced to build, or to get loom right away. So everybody's going to have loom, unless they're stupid, and never get loom, and just wait until their house is built by the villagers. And then they just make villagers instead. So here we can kind of maybe see an example. Kita trying to lock in this guy. What's he doing? Kita, no. And now he's going to fight. He's going to be like, get back here. I'm going to kill you. And yeah, that scout is pretty weak. Kita deleting that. So it's sort of an illustration. When I say that scout is pretty pathetic, I mean it. But I would rather go on the pathetic side for like a custom scout like this, because you don't really want to give somebody like a paladin in the Dark Age, that can just come through and like single-handedly destroy an entire town center with all villagers garrisoned inside of it. At this point, players should know not to attack vills. Well, it's okay if there's like a weak vill somewhere that's far away and you can snipe it. Maybe you run in and snipe it off of the farm. But and we have seen villagers go down to this heavy swordsman. But in those cases, it's generally because the player doesn't realize that they can fight back. But I think you're right though. At this point, players should realize that this guy is pretty weak, and you probably shouldn't be attacking villagers with him. And if you are attacked by him, then just fight back, especially if you've got loom. Mongols on a map with no boars. Well, there's lots of deer. There's lots of deer. Gurus Toby Buffus with a little bit maybe cleaner of a build. Actually, no, Kitsa going archers. Okay. So different takes on this map here, even though they're both Mongols, which I like. So Gurus Toby Buffus is going scouts, and Kitsa going archers. He's got the archery range. Gurus Toby Buffus with the stable. So we'll have to see here. I don't know that Gurus Toby Buffus is going to get much damage in on Kitsa. Kitsa seems to have this stuff figured out. He's got walls around his critical resources. But you never know. You never know. Mongols have a scout bonus. They do not have an archer bonus. Having said that, Mongols still have decent archers. They get all of the Arbalister upgrades, in fact, except for the final armor. But the game will probably be over long before then, given how open this map is. Kitsa building a random mill so that he can make farms, which is pretty funny. He never milled at either of his deer patches. But Kitsa's a pretty funny guy. I met Kitsa actually randomly, I think in a lobby. We played together and we became friends. He joined with, I think, oh, actually, you know what it was? I think it was the King of Ireland tournament that we met Kitsa. I think I'm thinking of a different guy, actually. Maybe Kitsa may have known me through that random thing and then signed up for the King of Ireland tournament because he knew me through a random encounter. But Kitsa goes way back, so when I bring up the King of Ireland tournament, like, you know, that just gives people an idea of how long we've been doing this. And we should actually do a season of Alchemy League in Ireland. I think that could be a lot of fun. And we do a lot of the King of Ireland tournament maps, but maybe I use the experience. Oh, yeah, there goes that starting scout. He's pretty pathetic. Maybe I use the experience that I've gained since hosting the King of Ireland tournament, and maybe I have a little bit less crazy of maps. Sapson is saying the Mongols are a mistake, especially if your opponent lames your deer. Well, you can't lame the deer with the scout, the starting scout, wherever he is, of which Kitsa has one. This guy cannot kill deer. He is given the traits 16 command in the random map scripting engine, or in the map script, which means that he cannot, he has auto scout and he cannot attack deer, which is interesting. So Kitsa has built an archery range out here. Kitsa actually kind of securing this area. Gurus, oh sorry, no, this is Gurus Toby Buffus. Blue versus red, it's hard. That makes a lot more sense. Alright, so Gurus Toby Buffus is there. Kitsa's got his archers over here. Gurus Toby Buffus with the skirmishers. Samson sent one villager and ruined everything. Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, you killed his deer. Yeah, you have to send the villager though, which is a bigger investment. Seems like they're getting nice benefits from the deer. I think so too. But again, I haven't seen Mongols very much on this map. But here we're seeing a mirror matchup, which is pretty exciting. Like I said, when I released this map, I thought Mongols were all I was going to see on the map. Cookie Pirate says, I better not see any deer laming in Season 4. That's a heinous crime in Alaska. Want and waste laws are very restrict because there are people that live off the land. That's true. There's not going to be any rule in Alchemy League Season 4 against laming deer. But if you lame deer like that, we will just make sure to remind people when we're doing the cast that in real life you can't lame deer like that in Alaska. Because it is illegal in real life. So we got some skirmishers here. Kitsa only harvesting from one side of the lumber camp. Skirmishers do not deal very much damage against villagers, but hey, they can still be annoying, especially if all you're making are archers here, which is what Kitsa has. And he's got to try to wall these skirmishers out, but he's not going to quite do that, I think. But Kitsa likes his quick walls, and he's good at them too. The skirmishers are here, and they are ready to party, but Kitsa does manage to get these quick walls up in time. But these scouts can just run around, and I think that's what they plan to do. But Kitsa has military in position. So Gyros Toby Buffus will probably not get any damage in. We can see that it's been pretty action-packed, even though there are no eco-kills so far. Gyros Toby Buffus just wants a piece of Kitsa's economy. He's been over here harassing him. Kitsa has been on the defensive. But, alright, here we go. So these skirmishers are in the right place. Oh no! This villager's walled himself out, but luckily for Kitsa, Gyros Toby Buffus does not see it. So this man's life is saved. Kitsa has made a scout here. But yeah, the scout, he's not gonna go out. Kitsa just fighting for his wood line here. He just wants a good place to take wood, and it's hard for Kitsa. He's heavily on gold. I'm wondering if Kitsa's just going to be buying wood. His economy is getting really close to being able to click up, which is important because Gyros Toby Buffus has already clicked up. Kitsa wants to come in here and pick off the weak scout and then runs away. Killing innocent villagers is also a crime in Alaska. That's true, Sapson. That's true. It's Age of Empires war crimes. The other one says, King of Ireland episode would be sweet, but please keep the maps as crazy as can be. Well, I'll try. But we did have some pretty unintuitive mechanics in King of Ireland tournament that I wouldn't do again. For instance, that map Achill, where like wood was coming out of the woodwork. You gained wood by controlling trade workshops or farms or other things. I think that was a little too crazy. And on Terra, the constant gold drain, and there was Telehogue, which had that yurt that was draining your money, so you had to delete it and be housed or sacrifice the gold. That was an interesting choice, but I think that's just too much for players. You know, you can document everything in advance, and you know, you could have all of your I's dotted and your T's crossed. You know, but people will just, it's just. You know, there's a pretty big consensus, I think, that maps can't be that crazy. But we could still be creative and capture those areas without those strange mechanics. The gold draining mechanics, for sure. It was fun. It was fun. Probably the craziest game that I ever saw. Gyros Toby Buffus, by the way, adding another town center here. This is... I don't know that I like this town center at all. I think this is a panic town center in response to Keats's military. But, like, what does this town center secure? This town center gives him, like, 4 mostly eaten trees. He should have built that town center, like, right here or something. You know, on a big, fresh wood line. Keats has gotten the crossbowman upgrade. Gyros Toby Buffus is a few villagers ahead. He did manage to lose a villager to Keats. Oh, Keats did get one of Gyros Toby Buffus's villagers. The other one saying that Akka was the best map. He loved the taxes. Yeah, the otter one is a rare breed. I think most people wouldn't be into that kind of thing. But I'm glad you liked it. He would love to see such mechanics. Cookie Pirate says it's better to get a trickle of gold for controlling something rather than losing it for not controlling it. I'm trying to think. In Terra, which was the Empire Wars styled start. Oh, Keats has got these Step Lancers, and now Gyros Toby Buffus has gone into Archers. That's an interesting choice. He's got to be careful, though. This Mangonel could get flattened, actually, countered pretty easily. These Step Lancers could probably do some major damage to those Archers if they were fully upgraded. They're missing an armor, though. Alright, so Mangonel rolling forward for Keatsa. He is now on the offensive. Gyros Toby Buffus has made a knight. This knight is a snipe a Mangonel kind of knight. And this town center is sort of a liability. I mean, Gyros Toby Buffus is putting farms around it, but wouldn't you rather have another town center back here? I guess he does have a town center here. Gyros Toby Buffus, though, wants the 3 town center boom, and Keatsa is the 1 town center aggression. He does get some good hits against these archers. And Gyros Toby Buffus has got to be careful. Kitsa getting maybe a... No, he's not going to get the surround. But Kitsa needs to make things happen now. Because if he fails to make something happen, then Gyros Toby Buffus will pull ahead of him in villagers. Yeah, there are a lot of people that, if they lose, they could potentially blame the map having an unintuitive mechanic, and having that be the reason why. And that's tough, even if you document it. There was talk about potentially doing another King of Ireland tournament a long time ago, years ago. But I don't really know that Discord has done anything since then. I don't know what Stig's been up to. I haven't talked to him in a while. You know, I felt a little badly because there was some drama over the mechanics of the maps. And I think that he thought that I was responsible. And I largely was. I was making decisions about craziness of maps. They were a little too crazy for what he was looking for, I think. But I remember when he first came to the RMS Discord, he was looking for somebody to make maps for a custom map tournament about Ireland. And I was like, I can do that. Oh boy, Kitsa needs to be careful here that these knights don't snipe his mangonel. And that's exactly what Gyros Toby Buffus wants, and he's going to get both. Just goes to show that mangonels are kind of a waste of time. Although this mangonel has not gone down yet for some reason. There it goes. Yeah, it may come to that eventually. I'm still thinking about what we should do for Alchemy League Season 5. And just the big thing is to get a community built, you know, where we get into our groove and we get a system working that we like and that people trust. Trying to win people over, you know, being able to create seeding without challenge was well, it was work, but I think that we were able to convince people, and I think people will be signing up more now, being able to convince people that, you know, you can do custom maps, that you can develop brand new custom maps, 8 of them in just a few months' time, with certain steps and procedures, have a process. Kitsa in here with the damage. This is really good for him because Gyros Toby Buffus is making archers, so he needs that gold. He does have another town center up here. Another mangonel rolling forward for Kitsa. Kitsa has some monks. The monks will be good against the knights. Kitsa needs to start converting, though. There he goes. The question is he going to get his conversions in? That's some pretty unfortunate RNG for Kitsa. He should have won that. Maybe if he had one more mangonel, he could have, but these archers came around and killed the monks before they could convert the knights. That was a disaster. But Kitsa is getting the villager kill. 57 villagers to 52, and Gyros Toby Buffus is on 3 town centers. Kitsa just now adding another one. I think he should be adding it on his wood, but I guess given how much he just ransacked his opponent's gold, maybe he feels like, you know, he wants to secure gold. I was thinking about potentially doing a not natural, but an Ancient Wonders themed Alchemy League. You know, who says that Alchemy League always has to be about a place? It could be about something different. Some Ancient Wonder theme. Mangonel missing. Boom. Alright, well, the archers did get a good hit, but again, these knights sniping the mangonel. Mangonels are just so worthless nowadays. It's kind of very unfortunate. I think they should be a little bit stronger. Is the Scour killing the gold line of Kitsa? No, Kitsa's gold mines are pretty safe. It's trying to make something happen here, but there's too many. This is like a double gold. I guess this is double gold as well. Kitsa going into Scorpions instead. He's also getting the second armor on his Step Lancers, which is overdue, I think. And Gyros Toby, Kitsa needs to not fight this. He needs to wait for this armor to come in. He may not have a choice. No, he doesn't have a choice, which is unfortunate for Kitsa. Step Lancers taking big losses there just before the armor comes in for these knights. Kitsa's been pretty unlucky this game. I think that this castle will go up. Gyros Toby Buff is sending a bunch of villagers to build it. Keats running out of military. He's just had some really bad fights, unfortunately. Yeah, and Keats sees the writing on the wall. A biblical reference. DJ Sepson says, Wonder Race on historic maps and specific civs. Swordsmen were attacking and unnoticed for a bit. Tech has mentioned somewhere in the Far East, Ancient Wonders. I said somewhere in South America, like Chile and Argentina. I have good ideas for 4 Chilean maps. King of the Hill 1v1 is kind of never done in AoE 2, but actually a thing in AoE 4. It should work for a monument theme. Well, you know, I've got that Petra map that I submitted for the World Desert Championship. I made that a while back because Huhuei Koedel was talking about it. He was like, I really want this Petra map. He's wanted it for years. And so I made it. And they weren't... And then ironically, because Huhuei Koedel is not the only guy that decides what goes into the World Desert Championship map pool. It's a $30,000 map pool and lots of people are involved. And some people, in fact, most people are not as adventuresome as Huhuei Koedel is. So they didn't pick it for the guaranteed maps. Okay, so the next map here was made by Q Philip, and this is Olympos. The first game went to Guras Toby Buffus, and Olympos was made by Q Philip. Q Philip makes maps quickly. He's quick at them. He doesn't... I mean, he does mix the forests. I think Q Philip is less interested in the aesthetics of a map. Like, he's less likely to scatter eye candy in there and all kinds of different things. But he's an efficient map maker. If you need a map quickly, Q Philip can make it. And it was good of him to make it for this season of Alchemy League, because these guys did not have a lot of time. I think they had like 2 weeks total. Maybe even 1 week. But with a Natural Wonders, not Natural Wonders, Ancient Wonders themed event, we could have like maps that are based off of Petra, maps that are based off of the Great Wall of China, a map based off of the Colossus of Rhodes. We could have a map based off of the pyramids. So it doesn't have to be exactly the 7 Ancient Wonders, but it could just be something relatively ancient. I'd have to think about it a little bit more. Something relatively ancient built by people who were considered extinct by the time the Middle Ages rolled around. The aesthetics for the terrain are kind of nice on Olympus. Well, I mean, I'm glad you like it. I mean, he does have a rocky top here for his mountain. Wouldn't it have been cool, though, if he had, like, jagged mountain peaks, though, and, like, blending of the stone into the... I get it, though. Some people just like to be able to see which terrain is which. So I do understand. So we've got Guras Toby Buffus playing as the Saracens, and we have Keitsa playing as the Georgians. They're pretty much exactly across the map from each other, and there's a big mountain range in between. Georgians are popular on this map. I've seen them a lot. I think the logic is that Georgians are good with defenses, but the map is also large and open, and the players start far apart, and Georgians are also good with cavalry. So the idea is that you could make cavalry to raid your opponent, but you could also defend on this hill. I think maybe that's where they're coming from. You could do 7 natural wonders of the world's... Well, again, natural or ancient. Natural means not built by mankind. And, you know, there's various definitions of what those could be. Natural formations. I'm trying to think of a good example here. Like the Great Barrier Reef. Like Uluru. Like maybe Mount Everest. Just spitballing some ideas there. But I think I like Ancient Wonders a little bit better. Yeah, DJ Sapson saying Civ 6. You could go into Civ 6 and find all those things. He meant exactly what he said. Okay. Then in that case, yeah, that is a possibility that I thought about as well. Ideally, what I'd like to be able to do is I'd like to be able to, you know, give the community members the ability to propose ideas for future seasons of Alchemy League and then give other community members the ability to vote on it. I even toyed with the idea of making it so that you could donate to the prize pool of the event. This is kind of a weird thing for... Okay, I see what he's doing now. It's like he built it and it started going over there. And if you donate to the event, you have more of a say in where we go. But I think that could be too complicated or maybe too controversial. Certainly there are arguments against such a system. But there are people who have messaged me and said that they'd like to support Alchemy League in some way because they like what we're doing here. And I've always just kind of said, no, I don't want any criticism of that influence or say in how this place is run depends on finances or money. You know, this is a volunteer organization, and we don't take money from Microsoft because I want to be, if a Civ is unbalanced and sucks, and Microsoft just released it, I want to be able to say that on my stream. Or, you know, if there's some unfair system for how Microsoft sponsors tournaments or doing something, I want to be able to say that. I want to be able to speak the truth. And I feel like a lot of other communities that take Microsoft's money can't do that because they are, when you take their money, you become an employee of the company, even if it's not formally in a contract somewhere. So it is important for there to be a community that is independent in that respect, even if it has to start out very small, and even if it's funded by volunteers. And well, in this case, just me. But maybe we could set something else up, and people could chip in, and maybe we get like 2,000 people someday, and like everybody gives $1 for it, and then we have like bigger prize pools, and you know we can actually operate independently from Microsoft and have higher level play. That would be pretty cool. So, Garrus Toby Buffus here is checking out Keats's base. The advantage with Georgians is that they can move their drop sites, but the disadvantage is you can't use mining camps, or you can't quick wall in mule carts nearly as easily. So did we get an attack here? I guess we did, but Keats fought back and he's loomed, so this heavy swordsman has to withdraw. I guess I should probably be talking about the game a little bit more. So Garrus Toby Buff is building a sneak stable in the back. Keitsa may be assuming that this is going to be archers. And let's see if Keitsa actually knows, if Keats has scouted the gold. So Keitsa has scouted the gold, and he knows that there's another gold here. So actually, he has accounted for all of Garrus Toby Buffus's gold. So Keitsa... yeah, Keitsa is... he knows that Garrus Toby Buffus is not going to go archers, which Saracen archers are very popular on this map. DJ Sapson says, yes, just like Grathrang is building his community, but IDKY it's very small compared to his efforts. I don't know much about Grathrang, actually. Not very much at all. But I got the sense that he was kind of a lone wolf. And I think that there could be a lot of potential for Grathrang to coordinate with this community. But I agree. He may have some... I don't know him. I can't speak to whether or not Grathrang has vices that are holding him back. But is this an opening here? It is. Garrus Toby Buffus finds an opening. And that is very unfortunate for Keitsa, because that means that Garrus Toby Buffus is going to be able to get in and do damage. Oh boy. That's not good. Anyway, but I get the feeling that other people in the community believe that Grathrang has vices, and they don't want to coordinate or help him out as much, even though there's great merit to what he does. And as a result, Keitsa coming to charge this. I don't know that 3 villagers, that's not enough. He needs to like send the boys. He needs to send everybody. He identifies the hole in the wall, but he's going to fight the scouts first. And I don't think Keitsa ever scouted that stable either. So maybe Keitsa just never realized that he was, you know, he had found all of Garrus Toby Buffus's gold. He found that there was nothing on it. Maybe he didn't realize it. He thought, oh, you know, maybe there's another gold and Garrus Toby Buffus is on that instead. And so he assumed the archers were coming, and he was surprised by these scouts. But these scouts get major damage, and they kill 3 villagers. And there are 2 scouts still at large. And so if they start chiseling away at a wall and Kitsa wants to wall behind it, there is the chance that Gurus Toby Buffus' 2 scouts that are already inside will deny it. But they are weak scouts, so I don't think they can deny it very effectively. Kitsa coming over here to repair this palisade gate. And there is an archer coming now for Gurus Toby Buffus, but man, 3 villagers at that time frame. Very, very damaging. So yeah, I would team up with Grathrang potentially, but I'd like to learn. I don't know to the extent to which I would do so, because he does seem to be a talented creator. But like I said, I just don't know much. I don't know much about him. He doesn't really, this community is for custom maps, and I don't know how much he does with custom maps or if he's ever tried sourcing anything from us. But we kind of got our own thing going anyway with a league. It's really kind of a league community. And maybe he prefers to do the different tournaments. But it's more random, it's not as, it's assured, because every 3 months we're going to be doing a league, and you can bet that there's going to be $240 worth of prizes for players in that league. And it's not a lot, but it's also like it happens every time. And if you do well in the league and you win lots of games against worthy opponents, you will win money. Keats is just having a hard time walling this off here. So it's kind of a safe community. But yeah, if Grathrang isn't taking money from Microsoft either, then I have big respect for that. Keatsa not really able to get in here to wall this off. Okay, there he goes. He's got another house there, but he needs to come up and he needs to build something right here. And then he needs to find another source of gold, which he does not have, so he needs to build a tower. He's building a fortified church instead. Okay. So Keatsa being up to the castle age will be helpful, but Gurus Toby Buffus will be up soon as well. Keatsa's lost 4 villagers here. He's being forced off of this fortified church. This one's kind of a disaster for Keatsa. This open wall, I think, ended the game effectively. But he does get the fortified church up. Do fortified churches need murder holes? I believe they do. So Keatsa would have to build another fortified church here to get these units off of his fortified church. But instead he's just gonna take stone, I suppose. He's garrisoned the mule cart inside of the fortified church. Okay, it comes out this side. I didn't know you could garrison these because they're considered buildings, but it also sort of makes sense at the same time. The villager going down. Boy, Keatsa is... He does not have a lot of resources he can take. Gurus Toby Buffus denying both of these. Keatsa could build another fortified church here, though. I think that would be smart. He's come over here to take wood, but his opponent is at this wood line, so Keatsa has to relocate. Alright, he's building a siege workshop. And the plan with the siege workshop is he's going to make a siege weapon. He's got to sell some stone for it first. And can he even get a scorpion going? I think it's because he... Okay, there he goes. He sold some wood accidentally at first. I think that got in his way. Now he's going to come over here and take this wood. Oof, poor Keatsa. Gurus Toby Buffus with the 3 town center boom here. He is just raking in the damage on Keatsa. He's killed 10 villagers. I don't want to say for free, but with minimal investment. Alright, that scout goes down. This scorpion is finally going to force back these archers. Keatsa's lost 11 villagers. It's just a disaster. And it could have been very different if this hadn't been open. Dang. Cookie Pirate says, those mule carts are super cool. That's probably my favorite mechanic of the Georgians and Armenians. So these archers got in somehow. How did... Okay, they chiseled their way through that wall because they're Saracen archers and they can just do that. And another villager goes down. The Scorpion is here, but boy. Is that villager going to get away? Nope. This archer's just going to camp the base of this Scorpion now. The Scorpion has to pull within range of the town center. Kitsa is going to build a town center on this gold so that he continue to take resources. He's not going to be able to wall this off. I think Guras Toby Buffus picked Saracens so that Kitsa could not quick wall him out. These archers are not going to allow Kitsa's villagers to wall that out. Although this Scorpion actually will be helpful. He might actually get that wall up because of the Scorpion. So town center's going to go up. 14 villagers down for Kitsa. He's at 35 villagers to Guras Toby Buffus is 57. And it's called Pay to Have Mule Carts. Are mule carts really that awesome? I guess they might be okay. Actually, in RMS, we could enable mule carts for every civilization, I think. I'm pretty sure we can. Which would outrage a lot of players, because they'd be like, I paid for this, for the ability to make mule carts, and you're just giving them to everybody. But we could do it. It would be pretty funny, actually. Siege Workshop. So, Guras Toby Buffus he's on 4 town centers, but he feels that now is the time to pressure Kitsa with some siege weapons. Actually, on Petra, which is a map that I made, you do start with a mule cart. But you can't make more of them in case it's destroyed. Yeah, and it's true, no ranked map has starting mule carts on it. Now, do these things take up a population space? Remind me, do mule carts require population space? They don't. Ah, okay. So you could theoretically make 300 of these things to soak up arrow fire still. I thought that that was an issue and they resolved it. Where somebody, maybe Dave, had made like 100 mule carts and surrounded some enemy archers with them. And then the archers couldn't attack anything, and then he just killed the archers because the archers were too busy soaking their arrows into the mule carts. You guys can enlighten me on what exactly that was. Kitsa has sent his Scorpion out. Guras Toby Buffus is going to come and run it down. Saracen Archer's very annoying. How expensive are these fortified churches? It seems like it wouldn't be too expensive to build another one up here or something. So DJ Sapson is clarifying, they were even more OP before, and many people spammed them to block the enemy. Someone did it to me and won. Oh, that was you they did it to. They are much easier to destroy, though, compared to a traditional lumber and mining camp. So what did they do, DJ Sapson, to make the mule carts less OP? Kitsa getting a good win there with trapping the archers. That's a little bit greedy of Guras Toby Buffus. The archers came in to attack the fortified church at minimum range, but Kitsa was able to get this mangonel out. The mangonel flattened them. Guras Toby Buffus, though, with 92 villagers to Kitsa's 61. Kitsa also has this down here. And Guras Toby Buffus is pressuring that. Sorry, I didn't see that earlier. Kitsa has a tower. He's got a couple of towers to keep it safe. He needs to repair his town center. I'm wondering if Kitsa can get the range upgrades on the tower. He has one range upgrade. I bet with a second range upgrade, Kitsa would be able to reach that mangonel. Before, carts were auto-targeted. Okay. So it was the best meat shield in the game. Okay, so they just changed it so that units do not automatically attack the carts first. Okay. So Siege Workshop coming up. Keats is going to go defensive Mangonel route. He's low on wood. Keats with all of these repairs against the Saracen archers. Very annoying. Garrus Toby Buffus is going Imperial Age now. I wouldn't be surprised if he got Redemption to just convert Keats' defensive Mangonels. I believe Georgians get Redemption as well. They are a monk civilization after all. Keita could consider expanding up this way, maybe. There's a couple of golds up here. I don't think he knows about them. But it could benefit him if he found them. Now, Keita just knows about this area, and he knows he's being pressured down here. Sapson, what's your feedback about Alchemy League? What do you have to say about it? What do you think could potentially be improved about the league? I'm getting ready to write the handbook for the next season. So Imperial Age is still over 45 seconds away, so... Oh! What was that? A direct hit didn't kill it? Oh, it's because it was uphill. Alright, that makes sense. Mangonel, Garrus Toby Buffus with the split. Super annoying. Like, this should never happen. If you've got a Mangonel, archers should just run away. But there's not enough lag in the game anymore for that to happen. Or you think more maps will only be better? Well, we are making more maps. They're going to be Alaska themed next season. I'm glad that you are pleased. So, Imperial Age comes in for Garrus Toby Buffus. He's getting Chemistry first. He's getting Bracer first. You can bet he'll get Arbalester soon. Keats has finally managed to fight him off, but he is at a big disadvantage. Keats is all Castle Age. You know, essentially this right here, this 21 villager kills to 0 deaths, is the reason why Garrus Toby Buffus is Imp and Keita is not. Keita, I think he's just trying to get the relics in maybe and win before this technology comes in with a relic victory. Garrus Toby Buffus microing down Keats' monks, which is an unfortunate loss. Georgians get every monk tech except Atonement and Illumination. Oof, that's pretty bad. That's actually not good for monks at all. I guess in Castle Age you could be okay as long as your opponent wasn't going monk defense. Keita building a castle here to buy himself time, but Garrus Toby Buffus is already working out with a trebuchet, and Keita decides not to finish that castle. He's just like, no, not worth it. So he's probably going to eject his relic and grab it with the monk and run away. So he's sending a monk back. Yeah, there's the relic being ejected. This monk is going to try to snag this relic and then run away. Watch this. Is he going to get it? He is going to get it before blue. He's got another monk that's being created. And Keita doesn't get Atonement, so he can't convert them. Keita trying to get all the monks. It's like, I don't know, he just doesn't have enough monks here to grab all those relics. But he does manage to get at least 2. Yeah, so he's going to have the 2 relics. This area is being sieged. There is a Mameluke here. This Mameluke is going to be pretty annoying. Kill the villager in like 3 or 4 hits. Armenians are the ones that get every single monk technology, and so Keats is just going to fight this Mameluke with villagers. But the Mameluke is just going to run away, and then it might come back and do more harassment, which is pretty annoying. So Keitsa's going to need to send a monk down there to convert the Mameluke. But it's looking pretty rough for Keitsa. I mean, it is 4 military to 4 military, and Keitsa has clicked up. But he's 30 villagers behind. What on earth is Gyros Toby Buffus doing with all this food? That's what I want to know. He's just stockpiling so much food. It's like he's taking his foot off of the gas. You know, and he's kind of toying with Keitsa a little bit. What's the plan for Gyros Toby Buffus? He's giving Keitsa the opportunity to get back into the game, which is a mistake. Yeah, I'm going to send an announcement out for Alchemy League, I think, after this. We're going to need some feedback on the handbook to see if there's any way that we can improve it. We're going to need casters for the next season of Alchemy League. There's talk of me getting another job. I'm considering it. We'll see. So I'm going to be quite busy. Gonna need help. And even if I weren't quite busy, it would be good to have more casters involved. So, and we need more map examiners. We need to convince the DJ Sapsons of the world to look at maps and provide feedback about them so that a map maker has a better chance of getting their map accepted in the next season of Alchemy League. There's a whole, it's like Greek fire. Like, it's not just some secret chemical formula that one person came up with. Greek fire was a system that they built where everybody had a job and it was very efficient, and it just worked well. When is the deadline? I mean, as soon as possible. The thing is what you would be doing, Sapson, is you are basically trying out a map, maybe testing it with a friend, or maybe looking it over, and you have access to the official grading rubric that the final judges have, and you can use that to improve the chances that the map maker will be able to successfully get their map to pass the inspection. So that's the whole point of all of that. It's not something that I wrote up just to look smart. It is an attempt at allowing map makers to predict whether or not their map will be acceptable for tournament use, and be able to predict how judges are going to evaluate it, because that's the big weakness of map contests right now. Like, the World Desert Championship is not doing this. So for that, people are less likely, although there is some money involved. Gyros Toby Buffus claiming the win here. People are less likely to make maps or develop maps specifically if they can't predict how the judges are going to evaluate them. They are going to be really fun. Yeah, I've had a lot of good comments. People are looking forward to this. We'll pull the maps all together. Tomorrow is the last day for the map makers to make sure that they meet all of their mundane requirements. And then pretty much after all those boxes are checked in, they're going to go for final inspection. So Gyros Toby Buffus claiming the second win here. I think Keitsa had these games were close. I really think Keitsa, it came down to like a few small mistakes. In the first game, it seemed like Keitsa could never really get a good military engagement, even though he had similar investment in units that were theoretically counters to Gyros Toby Buffus. He was just never in the right place at the right time. And for this second game, he had a huge hole in the wall that set his economy back massively. But I do think that Keitsa played very well. So, but entertaining sets. I liked both of these sets. I hope that you were as entertained by them as I was. So, with that, we are going to sign off, guys. Thank you for joining me today. And I will probably cast some more games this afternoon. But I also need to get the handbook rolling for the next season of Alchemy League. I spent like 4 hours between last night and this morning trying to find alternative websites to host our PDFs so that people can click on links, and I could not succeed. I could not find anything, which is Pretty unfortunate. So we'll just stick with GitHub for now. It's annoying that you have to download to be able to click the links, but oh, well, at least it works, you know. So guys, thanks so much for joining. We're going to be continuing to try to cast as many of these as we can, and put the final preparations in place for the maps for Alchemy League Season 4, so that's all set for you guys for the next season of Alchemy League. Well, no, unfortunately it doesn't work, Sapson. It doesn't work because, number one, if you have a bunch of maps that are components and there's hyperlinks for those maps inside of the document, you need to be able to predict what the links are going to be for the other maps that you want to link to it. And there's just some big gibberish code. So you can't predict it to be able to upload them with the correct hyperlinks. So, unfortunately, it does not work. But if you can think of anything, if you're interested in helping us solve this problem, I would love that. I might even pay you a bit, if you can. If you've got programming skills for that kind of thing, I couldn't pay you very much because I'm trying not to get my costs out of control here. And we may just be not ready for that kind of thing. The community has some growth that it needs to do before we can get like more official. But the concept has a lot of potential, and I think that as long as we can steer clear of whatever pitfalls might await us, then we can do quite a bit with our format and with this community. So thanks guys for tuning in. It's always a pleasure having people to talk to instead of just myself. I'm Tech Cherry, and I'll see you guys later.